And it too was settled largely by Quakers. All right, let's do some generalizations about the middle colonies. This area was known as the breadbasket of the New World. Farmers just poured into this area. They had really good farming techniques. The Germans built a lot of really successful farms. So they grew the most wheat of any of the colonies. They also had iron mines, deep harbors for ocean-going vessels, glass and textiles. They had the best relations with the Indians. And they had diverse populations. All right, there's a term that you might need to know, that you might see. It's called quit rent. Just stick it at the bottom. The vocabulary you might need to know. Quit rent, Q-U-I-T-R-E-N-T. It's a tax that the settlers in the middle colonies paid to their proprietors. Quit rent. I thought of a vocabulary word I didn't teach you too with the, go back to the southern colonies. There's a word I should have taught you. Just skip a few lines and stick it down at the bottom. Headright. Headright, H-E-A-D-R-I-G-H-T. Any person who paid for an indentured servant to come over would be given a headright, which was 50 acres of land. So if you had money, you could pay for several laborers to come over and get big land grants, and then you would also have your workers there too. Your indentured servants would be coming with you. So it was a good deal. Alrighty, and that's it. So 3 essays come out of that one. This one big thing of information. Let's look at the 3 essays and see some things you could put in the essay. All right, we've already really worked on how they develop separate societies. We did that at the beginning of class. So you understand what you write on that, how they're so different, right? How they're so different. All right, to what extent did they develop freedom of religion? Why did they develop freedom of religion? When they first came to New England, they did not grant freedom of religion, right? They were so repressive. You had to be a separatist or a Puritan, and you had to adhere to their rules and go to their churches, and you had to pay a tax to that church. But what happens because they're so strict? People start leaving the colony. And who are 2 people who leave and start new colonies? she doesn't really start a new colony. She does leave, she joins somebody else who's already started one.
Massachusetts Bay Homes kicked out.
Who, there were two
Roger
men.
Williams.
Roger Williams, and what did he found?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
And
Thomas Hooker.
Yes, and Thomas Hooker founded
And this one's, yeah.
Connecticut, right? Okay. And so they both provided freedom of religion in their colonies, okay? And then in the southern colonies and in the middle colonies, why did freedom of religion develop?
They could get people to move there.
Yes, there were proprietors and they didn't really care what religious practices you had. They wanted everyone to come because they wanted to make money from them. And so the Anglican Church was still the state-supported church in the South, but there weren't really nearly so many of them, and they didn't have the control they had in New England because people just lived too far away from the churches for them to control their lives. All right, and in New England, how does the Bible affect government?
It's a theocracy.
Yes, instead of a theocracy. And that doesn't happen in the other colonies, right? They're using the English model, and I gave you that handout that you did about how did democracy develop in America. They used the English model. People were used to representative assembly. They were used to trial by jury. Do you remember that package you got? It addresses all of that. Okay. Democracy, how democratic was America? Well, in New England, again, it wasn't very democratic at first, was it? But it grows more democratic over time. Who got to vote? Yeah, white male landowners, which did not feel democratic to us, except why was that democratic? Every white man was given land. So at the first generation, every family was represented. Everybody could vote. But that doesn't work in the second generation, does it? Okay. So in the second generation, you had a lot of their children didn't want to join the church. They were baptized into the church, but they didn't want to join it. And so guess what they came up with? Because these rich people that founded these colonies, they're not going to watch their children go without political power. And so they established what was known as the halfway covenant. It's kind of funny. Halfway covenant. And so when the second generation came along, they didn't join the church. They passed this and it said if you'd been baptized in the church, you could vote. You didn't have to be a member of it. So do you see how that's breaking down already in the second generation? So eventually the church membership is going to be dropped as a prerequisite for voting. And then later, it's much later, that land ownership is dropped. So, all right, I'm going to give you the rest of the class time to work on those questions. I think your brain dead. You look like zombies. Tomorrow we'll do the philosophical forces. Talk about African American women. Friday you'll have a matching. It'll be an objective test. I don't know what all kind of questions. Some might be even true false.